ever wondered the purpose of it all? Or better yet, what happens next? You ever framed your thoughts only to end up in a circle? Let's for a moment talk. Now, in order to exchange languages and break barriers, I must tell you, this for me is therapy. Yes, poetic. But when I speak it to release, I feel peace. I've accepted this healing is my responsibility, and I promise I won't project my mama who helped curate my trauma. This monologue, I will be forthcoming to garner those lowly accredited moments attempted to undermine my womanhood. I present to you Monologue 1 titled Curated Trauma. Long nights of Johnny Taylor, Marvin Gaye, and Tyrone Davis, blasting through a speaker at 6 p, hours passing, yet still blasting. Who's making love to your old lady while you was out making love? I now see the sun peeking, incongruent with time I arise. Throw on my clothes, cater to my hygiene, hoping I can make it out the door and sing. While still in the hallway, I check on my brother and sister. As we exchange looks, with the lack of words, our silence was heard. And as we all creaked, just barely holding hands, there in the living room she stands, our mother. Still mumbling the blues, breath smelling of booze, she makes one final performance, staggering closer towards us. She sings, "Baby, don't you run so fast. Might be snakes in that grass. Grandma hangs." We squeeze closer together, hoping we'll make it to the bus on time. Me with hair leaking on a collar now yellow from Jerry curl juice. As an 8-year-old, I was confused because all I knew my sister stood with long ponytails braided neatly covered in colored barrettes, yet still timid. We all stood, and finally the performance had ended. It was over as her body dropped to the couch. Now excited, once more we exchanged a look. We were finally free, free from the blues party, the drunken singing, constant light flickering, door opening while sleep broken, paranoid accusations of someone laughing, forced to hear stories of our father. We're tired, restless, and becoming irritable, trying not to scream, "Mom, move!" As she continues to pull our covers that sustaining body warmth, she carries on. Conversations now mixed with temporary compliments, easily removed and replaced with verbal abuse. That's all she knew. We would lay praying she would just leave to finish her drink. Once finally able to sleep, the sun peaks, and we throw on our clothes, cater to our hygiene, hoping we make it out the door unseen. Morning is anew, we finally made it to school. Forced after preparing our young selves for the day, we sat on a bus, lightly smiling, enjoying the ride. There I sat, excited, though confused about the little girl I knew would one day become a woman. Parallel to the speaker in this monologue, I'll preface by saying I don't set claim. I care nothing about being affiliated with a hood. I put nothing on six, on I, on blood, on cuh, on my mama or my kids, and certainly not on God. But hear me while I explain trying to rid the mind of survival infestation known as modern day slavery. Cause this that shit that made me. Never been a mama's baby, but baby, when I say the way my mama raised me, it's rough. I had no choice but to be tough. Her drunken days of puking in a bucket, running around the hood screaming, "I'm from New Orleans, baby," put me in a position to set aside my childhood while she snatched and grabbed knives, swinging at men, almost taking their lives. She took more than enough rides down to the county. So much so, I held a knife to my chest and spoke, "Oh God, I can't take this no more." But in that moment, God spoke. He said, "I've given you exactly the mother you need, even though it seems you believe she doesn't know how to be. You're indeed the mother she needs." And that's the lesson I carried into my blossoming into womanhood. I stopped looking to receive, but instead, every encounter from that moment, I asked God, "What in this you need?" And yes, in this I'm still youthful, not knowing the how-tos, wanting hugs of comfort and gentle conversations to be told I'm beautiful and have my feelings validated. So I waited for my mother to remove her drunken cloak, and show a sense of softness or patience. So I waited. I present to you Monologue 1 to digress this woman's layers. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Season 1, I am going to present in a different fashion from the conventional visual podcasts that are popular now. I want to introduce you all to me so you can learn uh, either a little or a lot about me as your host. And I am going to do that through a series of monologues before I go into the more conventional style of visual podcast where it's me and someone else conversing. But again, if you watch the first video, then you know this podcast is to inspire women to find their voices, to really be fierce in their conversations, to tell their stories, to no longer tame the lion that's within them and go out into the world and be bold and be brave and be courageous and be all the things that we are condemned for being. Life is a balance, and you can be bold. You can be bold and soft all in one. So the essence of this is really learning how to balance. And as I am doing this, I'm also learning with you all in the process because again, there's a lot that I recognize has been spewed onto my canvas and what makes me a woman. And I'm now understanding that so much power of a woman, I don't even understand it. I don't really recognize that it's something I have. And so I want to go on this journey of discovering my own womanhood and the true essence of what that looks like. And I want to bring you all along on this journey. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoy the first monologue. Again, it's called Curated Trauma, and I plan to set them up in the course of series that leads up to Who's Before You Today. And this is my journey into womanhood. So that's a poem with me as a youth, as an 8-year-old, and the experience of my mother. And I think for me doing this feels very liberating within myself because there's a portion of me that shields others from who they were in my story because I didn't want to present them in a negative light. But the unfortunate reality is my mother struggled with alcohol. She still does. And lots of the behavior was very abusive, but because it's my mother, it's a relationship that I really held on to. It's a relationship that I fought for, and it's a relationship that was always a tug of war. It was really healthy in a sense of what healthy is, but because sometimes we are familiar with toxicity, to us it's normal, and that becomes our version of healthy. So I encourage you, anyone that's watching this, to really pause, take a moment, examine the connections that play a large part of what makes you who you are. And if there are any versions of those people where you can still trace abuse, neglect, abandonment, all those very negative experiences, and that's something that they're unwilling to pivot into being a different or better version, then truthfully, hey, again, this podcast is to inspire women to be bold and courageous, to make those really tough decisions that you find very difficult. Um, Oftentimes it's necessary for our growth. So again, I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something from it. I hope that it inspires you. I hope it awakens the artist within. I hope it motivates you to tap into your creative self. I hope that you really put into action so you can produce and show a fruit of your labor in giving you and your essence and your artistry to the world. And again, this is Pink Chalked Lions, where we will no longer tame the lion within. The purpose is to purposely go be wild, but balanced with soul. Go be fierce, but balanced with creativity. Go be bold, balanced with silence. Thank you again for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because I'm really serious about this. I'm very, very serious. I'm super excited. I'm already working on Monologue 2, so I can't wait to post that next week, and you all really get to see what I'm working on. And also, I promise, okay, the quality of this thing is going to get so much greater, but right now, this is what you get in the rawness, in me being as organic as I can be, and me just starting. So that's the conversation that I've had with a few of my close females in my life. Just start where you are. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look the way everyone's else stuff looks. Just start. Just start. Just be unafraid. Show you. Give the world you. Be unapologetic about you. This is a moment about you. But in order to discover you, let's start really peeling back those layers and trace back to a time, a moment, a person, an event of what shapes and influences you.